Europe has plenty of great cities, but they rarely come as unique as this. One that's touched with intriguing past, shaped and sculpted by a quest of elegance, and then emerged from its tumultuous history to become a city of undeniable culture and identity. I've been here once before, many moons ago, and somehow the stars have led me here again. To this place that sits dramatically in Central Europe, a capital that remains to be one of the most vibrant, endlessly fascinating, and gloriously charming cities in the continent. A city that withstood waves of influence across time, resisted the weight of its wartime memories, preserved architectural treasures worth keeping, and championed some of Europe's most iconic sense of living. Today it marches on to become an everlastingly enjoyable, unforgettable city that you'd want to visit over and over again. This is Budapest. Of all the cities I've visited before prior to starting this YouTube channel, somehow Budapest left a great deal of impression on me, and I kept meaning to go back to the city so that once and for all I can capture the special place in this European video series. And despite having been here before, just a mere sight of the sparkling Danube River and walking along the streets, my memories eluded me, and it felt as though I was visiting Budapest for the first time. I went back here in the winter to experience Budapest from another perspective. Central Europe can be unforgivingly cold in the winter months, but Budapest seems to wear winter with a kind of unexpected pride, a kind of warmth worn like a glove, where you feel cozy despite a chill outside. It is thanks to Budapest's seemingly endless trove of treasures to explore, with an expansive history that gave birth to palaces, monuments, and a castle district where you'd feel like you've stepped back in time. Historical and architectural works that ooze great beauty, and that includes show-stopping views of the Danube. In the cosmopolitan city below, saunter through UNESCO-listed boulevards that feature a stunning array of Art Nouveau buildings. Discover countless world-class museums that you'd want to get lost into, and visit basilicas and opera houses where you'd wax lyrical under the spell. Budapest knows how to live, and live well as you might. The city has a proclivity to sophistication, and yet open to pragmatism. In this city, you'll find gorgeous mid-century coffeehouses, where you can spend hours in. Whet your appetites in the city's gastronomy that's brimming with cross-continental cuisines. And when you're in the spirit, delve into market halls to experience the fantastic Hungarian food scene. This is a city that balances lifestyle and well-being, where you can taste great Hungarian wines in refined bars, or even in Michelin-starred restaurants, and then relax and blow some steam in some of the city's most incredible offerings, its magical thermal waters and spas. Then, like a jewel in its crown, there's a spectacular river Danube, one of the great rivers of the world, flowing through Budapest, with riverside banks that are so historically significant, they're preserved as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. And these are only a part of what Budapest can offer to those who visit and experience this city unlike any other. The Budapest that we now know is the result of unification of three cities: Buda on the west bank of the Danube, Pest on the east bank, and then Óbuda, the oldest of the three. Even though this merging happened only in the 19th century, the story of Budapest traces all the way back to the Celtic times, then later established as a quinquem as part of the Roman Empire. But it was in the 9th century that the 7 Magyar tribes from the Ural Mountains arrived in this part of Central Europe. And out of this conquest, the Kingdom of Hungary was born. This legendary event is paid tribute at the city's Hero Square in Pest, where you'll find the 7 Magyar chieftains, including Árpád, considered to be the founder of Hungary. But to truly see and appreciate the city's history, you'd have to start at one of the oldest parts in Buda, in the historical 1st district of Budapest, located in the hills where you'll witness footprints of the city's history, molded and sculpted into monuments. To get there, the easy way is to take the Buda Városciklo, or the funicular that lifts you up to the impressive Buda Castle. Or if you'd rather take the free route and want to stretch those legs, take the castle stairs, which makes for a fun and scenic climb, through which you'll find lovely corners and incredible viewpoints. In the story of Budapest, it's significant to note that Hungary became a Christian kingdom at the dawn of the 11th century, under the reign of the first Hungarian king, Saint Stephen, the last Grand Prince of the Hungarians, and first king of Europe to receive the Apostolic Majesty title by the Holy Roman Empire. But the later centuries were met with turmoil. The Mongols arrived and attacked, and it was in the 13th century that King Bela IV built the fortress in Buda to defend the city. This castle hill experienced a golden age in the succeeding centuries. The Buda Castle Royal Palace, for instance, plays such a pivotal role in the story of Budapest. Built in the 14th century, damaged in the 16th during the Turkish occupation, reached its neoclassical and Baroque zenith with its incredible palatial complex around the 18th and 19th century during the height of the Habsburg-led Austro-Hungarian Empire, and was later badly ruined in the Second World War. The palace we see today is a product of a full reconstruction and simplification during the Soviet occupation and communist dictatorship in the 20th century. And yet, despite everything, the palace was and has always been a monumental structure perched on these hills, towering and looking out to the mighty Danube. Today, the palace houses some of the city's most important museums, including the Hungarian National Gallery, which now occupies several wings of the palace, where you'll discover the largest collection of Hungarian fine arts throughout the centuries, housing over 10,000 paintings, 2,000 sculptures, and so much more. This impressive gallery features great Hungarian artists, such as the esteemed realist painter Mihály Munkácsy and historical romantic painter Bertalan Shekely. French impressionists Cézanne, Pissarro, Monet and Courbet all make appearances here. But my personal favorite is Doboczy, the stunning panoramic work by Viktor Madaraj, one of the greatest painters of Hungarian Romanticism, depicting the tragic fate of Lord Mihály Doboczy and his wife, fleeing the Ottomans and riding tragically into the sunset. Outside, don't forget to set your sights on the exquisitely ornate Matthias Fountain, one of the most beautiful in Budapest, sculpted in this new Baroque depiction of a royal hunt and the romantic legend of an unconsummated love affair between King Matthias Corvinus and a peasant girl, Zeb Ilonka. Speaking of Matthias, just a short walk away is the extraordinary Matthias Church, perhaps one of the most unique and fascinating churches you'll ever see. Built in the Middle Ages, this church is a fascinating journey throughout time. Used as a coronation church for Hungarian kings, and then as a mosque by the Ottoman Turks, a Roman Catholic church then occupied by the Franciscans, Jesuits, and then fully reaching its neo-Gothic remodeling under King Matthias Corvinus the Fair, who lent the church his name. Inside, you'll be in awe of the astonishingly intricate work, elevating this church into visibly a magnum opus, combining exotic Orientalism and Eastern European Art Nouveau. With revived medieval murals painted by some of the best Hungarian artists, boldly capturing Golden Age Romanticism and the secessionist movement. And just outside is another famous monument, the Fisherman's Bastion. This arcade of lookout towers, prominently pitched in this castle hill like a graceful keeper. The current structure was built in the 19th century, replacing the old castle walls that used to stand here, a specific point where a guild of fishermen were entrusted to protect, hence the name of this monument. When you observe closely, you'll see that there are 7 turrets, representing the 7 Magyar tribes that founded Hungary, appropriating a truly privileged view of Budapest and the Danube, looking out to the panorama of Pest. Among the other sights to see in the Buda Castle district is the Magdalene Tower, or also known as Buda Tower, the only surviving remnants of a 13th century Gothic church. the grand and imposing Royal Hungarian National Archives, and just nearby, the Vienna Gate. And just when you think the views from Buda couldn't get any better, head to Gellert Hill, where even higher panoramas of Budapest awaits. Climb this hill where the Citadella sits on top, a fortification that remains a symbol of the Austrian occupation. And perched on top of the fortress is the Liberty statue, a sober reminder of the Soviet dominance until the fall of communism, a statue that's now dedicated to the independence of the Hungarian people. History aside, I highly recommend going up here, where the views of the city are just spectacular. To fulfill your river cruise dreams, wait no more and get to know Dave, the River Cruise King, your guaranteed world-class expert in travel, especially river cruises. Sail on the Danube and discover Budapest along the way. Get to know this grand European capital as part of your itinerary and romantic adventure through one of Europe's most famous rivers. You can join a grand cruise package or tailor your journey to your needs. Dave is there to help you shape the perfect river cruise for an unforgettable travel experience. Contact the River Cruise King for a guaranteed cruise of a lifetime. Moving across the east bank of the Danube, you can't simply miss the most unmistakably iconic site in Budapest. This is the Hungarian House of Parliament. This sterling, dazzling work of architecture, sumptuously laid in the riverbank, fusing neo-Gothic and Renaissance style. It's the largest building in all of Hungary, and the third largest parliament building in the world, and certainly the most beautiful. A masterpiece designed by the Hungarian architect Imre Steindl. This is the political beating heart of the country and the home to the Hungarian Holy Crown. You can go inside for a tour around its exquisite building as you encompass the sheer size and beauty of this place, with corridors and halls adorned with stunning ornamentations. See for yourself the grand staircase and the intricately designed and gilded House of Chambers. The Holy Crown of St. Stephen is stored in the magnificent Dome Hall, where no cameras are allowed, so that's left to your imagination. However, Hungary truly spared no expense punches in this work of art, as it's widely known that 40 kilograms of gold were used all over the decorations of this building. Compared to the historical Buda, Pest is a striking contrast. A sprawling metropolis in itself, nonetheless holding many of Budapest's treasures. It was in the 19th century the Austro-Hungarian Empire was born, and the Austro-Hungarian Compromise practically paved the way to a second golden age of Budapest, where plenty of the landmarks we see today were built, including the Parliament. This also includes the Széchenyi Chain Bridge, the first permanent bridge across the Danube in Hungary, and among others is St. Stephen's Basilica, the Opera House, the Hero Square, and the renowned Andrássy Avenue, preserved as one of the city's UNESCO World Heritage Sites. If you look closely, you will find Pest as a city dominated by two towering structures, the Parliament being the first, and standing equally at 96 meters is St. Stephen's Basilica, towering imperiously on the downtown of Pest. It is widely known that no other skyscrapers are allowed to be taller than these two historically important buildings, the city's bid to preserve the old-world atmosphere of Budapest. As soon as you go into St. Stephen's Basilica, you'll understand exactly why. It's richly decorated in fine arts, beautifully adorned with reliefs, sculptures, mosaics, and paintings, with an exquisite domed ceiling that demands your attention. This neoclassical cathedral took 5 decades and 3 famed architects to complete, so you can only estimate the sheer effort in making this building come to life. It's named after Hungary's first king, St. Stephen, and this cathedral is home to his mummified holy right hand, arguably Hungary's most sacred relic. Climb to the basilica's dome for a proper view of the city. We evaded the elevator and climbed 364 steps to the observation deck, relishing a pure 360-degree scenic panorama of Budapest. And back on the ground level, you can also attend the basilica's classical concerts, where you can listen to Liszt, Handel, Bach, and Vivaldi, sublimely played and echoed throughout the hair-raisingly great acoustics of the cathedral. And speaking of music, another gorgeous glittering gem in the city's collection of architectural jewels is the Hungarian State Opera, home to Budapest's rich repertoire of music and theatre. This is one of the most beautiful opera houses in the world, inside and out, and as the experts have confirmed, the third best acoustics in Europe, next to La Scala in Milan and Palais Garnier in Paris. This was designed by Miklos Ibl, one of Hungary's greatest architects, and this opera house is arguably his tour de force, a work of neo-Renaissance that's just too beautiful to behold. Inside, it's all shimmering in gloriously gilded perfection, with sweeping staircases, beautiful rooms, and a main auditorium that's built to make anyone's jaw drop. From the exquisite decor, gilded boxes, and monumental ceiling fresco, it's truly incredible to see a city pour so much devotion in a building that celebrates the triumph of art and music. And to continue your journey through the history of music, go and visit the newly installed House of Music, located in the heart of Városliget Park. This contemporary museum, designed by the Japanese architect So Fujimoto, dedicates an innovative exhibition to honor Hungary's rich musical heritage through excitingly modern digital installations. Afterwards, take your expedition to the visual arts in one of Budapest's most illustrious museums, the majestic Museum of Fine Arts, located just right beside Hero Square. Recently extensively renovated, this is considered to contain the largest art collection in Central Europe, ranging from antiquity to contemporary art. Saunter through Renaissance Hall, the Michelangelo Hall, and the most lavish of them all, the stunning Romanesque Hall featuring the actual Golden Gate of Freiburg Cathedral. There is so much to explore in this city. You can easily spend a whale of time browsing through Budapest's stunning panoply of sights. This is an immensely walkable city, and even more so when you're centrally located. You can walk everywhere. Otherwise, there's an incredibly efficient and affordable network of public transport such as the metro and its delightful yellow trams that snake around the city. I love taking my foot everywhere and have always been an advocate of walking and exploring autonomously. But if you fancy a fun activity with a group of people, take a walking tour and learn more about the city's storied life. Take a stroll through Pest's fascinating yet turbulent history, from the influence of the age of the Austro-Hungarian Empire to the destruction of the two world wars. You get to explore some of Budapest's renowned boulevards and streets, adorned with beautiful neoclassical and Art Nouveau buildings, particularly the Gresham Palace, a stunning turn-of-the-century palace that's now home to a luxurious hotel. Step into Liberty Square, one of Pest's most famous squares, simmering in political tension and historical intrigue. There's the controversial memorial for the victims of the German occupation during World War II, and this square is also home to Budapest's last remaining communist statue, a memorial to the Soviet Red Army, once dedicated to the liberators of Hungary and then a symbol of 4 decades of communist dictatorship. Another area in Pest that we enjoyed walking and exploring is the Városliget, practically Budapest's Central Park, right at the edge of the glorious Hero Square. Take a jaunt around this vast expanse of what is essentially the city's green lungs, and discover this rather impressive Vajda Hunyad Castle, a kind of romantic pastiche of the castles of historical Hungary, particularly the Hunyad Castle in Transylvania, what used to be part of the Kingdom of Hungary. In this quarter, you'll also see a marvelously Baroque palace that now houses the Hungarian Agriculture Museum. During winter, this park is also the home to an enormous ice rink where you can stretch your legs and go skating. But personally, there's already enough pleasure to be had by simply walking around the surroundings, enjoying the peace the city provides, especially at sunset. One of the things I find most pleasurable in this part of Mittel-Europa is the cafe culture, and Budapest offers this in spades. Some of Europe's, if not the world's, most beautiful coffee houses are in this city, and stepping into these places is beyond tradition. It's simply a way of life. Let's not forget, these historic cafes were once hubs of social life at the turn of the century, where artists and literary types convene, socialites and intelligentsia brush shoulders, even revolutionaries brew thought-provoking ideas in these hallowed halls. Step back in time, feel a touch aristocratic, and visit the ever-famous New York Cafe, touted as the world's most beautiful cafe. Whoever claimed this appellation must have been utterly dazzled by the opulence, and I don't blame them. I've seen enough grand cafes in my life so far, but this is truly something else. The price for a coffee and a cake here might be high as nobility, but consider it a worthwhile investment for a good old splendor, a throwback to a golden age when grand cafes used to be built and adorned with such resplendence. Another prominent icon is Gerbeau, a legendary coffee house that harks back to the 19th century, with regal salons that were once frequented by stately figures such as the Empress of Austria and the Queen of Hungary, Empress Sisi. You can still feel the opulent atmosphere, but this is more than just a cafe. It's also a confectionery parlor, serving up some of the city's finest and most decadent cakes. You'll go back over and over again for these slices of heaven. Just at the end of the Andrassy, next to Hero Square, is another revered institution, and it's also one of my favorites. Gundul Cafe, a patisserie restaurant that's been turning heads and satisfying appetites for over a century, and visited by the renowned and world famous. Come here for a classical dining experience accompanied with a grand piano, and then indulge in divine Hungarian gastronomy, serving up gourmet-style dishes that are some of the very best I've tasted in the city. And last but certainly not the least of these opulent fin de siècle cafes is the Parisi Passage Café and Brasserie, located at the thoroughfare of Parisi Udvar, which used to be Budapest's first ever department store, now turned into one of the city's most luxurious hotels. It's certainly one of the most striking buildings in the city, combining Gothic and Arabesque, and inside is even more spectacular. For film lovers, this is where they filmed Tinker Tailor's Soldier and Spy. Come here for an elegant bistro lunch or dinner and savor an exceptional blend of classic and contemporary dishes that are worth your time. The great thing about Budapest is that it simply has something for everyone. Thanks to this eclectic East meets West confluence of cultures, the city plays host to a bona fide wonderful food scene, and there's just lots and lots to eat in the city. You'll never run out of choices. One of the hubs of Budapest's food scene is the city's Great Market Hall, this gigantic 19th century covered market that's one of Europe's greatest. Wade through and explore 3 floors of local fresh produce, souvenirs and Hungarian grub. This is a place to orient yourself with the staples of Hungary: meat and salami, paprika, pickles and cheeses, and also lots of other Hungarian specialties. This place can get a little crowded, so go early and try some Hungarian street food in the upper floor food stands. But when it comes to honest-to-goodness experience of Hungarian flavors, go to Paprika Vendeglu for authentic Hungarian cuisine. The restaurant's log cabin rustic feel is matched by its vast menu of Hungarian classics. Beware, the food portions here are massive, so arrive well and with a huge appetite. To continue this expedition exploring Hungarian cuisine, you have to try Strudel House, the first strudel house of Pest, located in the well-heeled 5th district. There's a magnificent array of strudels made and baked fresh here every day, continuing this beloved tradition of strudel making, this filo pastry-filled goodness that's influenced by the Ottomans and now an Austro-Hungarian national treasure. We had goose liver for starters, pork belly with savory cabbage strudel, and goat cheese salad for the mains, and then finished off with the classic apple strudel for dessert, the most delicious of its kind. Nearby is the 7th district of the city, the Jewish quarter of Budapest, and this area is an absolute delight for food lovers everywhere. My favorite is 26 Budapest, this greenhouse garden restaurant that's like an oasis in urban Pest, serving up incredibly delicious Mediterranean dishes. And if you're looking for great cocktails, this is a place to be. Finally, to truly level up our food game in Budapest, we took our gastronomy tour to one of the finest Michelin-starred restaurants in the city, Essencia, this Portuguese-Hungarian hybrid with a culinary love story that gave birth to this absolutely unique blend of cuisines and flavors. We came here for a refined 5-course tasting menu, paired with some excellent Hungarian wines, and with Salvador the sommelier, we have a wine expert to help us navigate through the pairings. After an amuse-bouche to set this flavorful evening, we began with this aged Hungarian beef tartare, followed by a take on a dish called dodol, or potato dumplings, soaked in a beautifully creamy sauce and topped with caviar. Undoubtedly one of the best dishes we've had here. This was soon followed by a symphony of quail and beetroot, venison with truffle shavings, and then rounded off the evening with a take on a Hungarian classic, mezes kremes, a honey-flavored pastry with cream and jam, and was then surprised with an extra Portuguese dessert. Overall, this was a great excursion into the gastronomy of Budapest, in a relaxed, casual, yet with a fine dining milieu. However, let's not forget about the wines, as Hungary is a fantastic wine country and easily one of Europe's oldest and largest winemakers. The world's oldest demarcated wine region is here, and it's called Tokai. And there's so much more to Hungarian wines than this ancient region producing this legendary late-harvest sweet wine. In Budapest, you can explore and savor such a huge variety of wines in restaurants, like the wine pairing we did with the tasting menu. But you can also taste and explore the best of Hungarian wines in wine bars, or even go to a wine tasting experience, either of which you get to know the blends of Eger, from the opulent reds of Villani, the volcanic minerality of Somló, to the complex Olasz Riesling wines of Balaton. Budapest certainly knows how to drink and appreciate the rich Hungarian heritage of winemaking. In case you haven't figured it out, Hungarians have a propensity for relaxation and well-being, and these are both attained in the city's purest of pleasures, the thermal spas of Budapest. What the Romans and Turkish have initiated and plumbed, Budapest has turned this feature into a thriving spa culture. And this spa city holds the record of the most thermal water springing forth from any capital city in the world. Thanks to the city's specific location at the geological fault, hot springs and medicinal waters are abundant here. It's a city where you can really slow down, take it easy, visit a public bath, and soak up in the warm medicinal waters. One of Budapest's spa institutions is the Gellert Thermal Bath, set in the Art Nouveau building of the Hotel Gellert in Buda. One can easily spend the whole day here, languishing in the mineral-rich waters, feeling invigorated and exploring this vast spa with pools of differing temperatures. Undoubtedly one of the most grandiose of all Budapest baths. Coming here is experiencing some of the best of what Budapest can offer. But truly, the Grand Budapest thermal experience culminates in Széchenyi Baths, the largest in the city, where a neo-Baroque complex was built to prove how vital the thermal waters are to life here in Budapest. And in the winter, this is one of the best things to do in the city. We came here during sunset, and the atmosphere was kind of magical, where everyone was soaking up to the naturally hot springs, in pools where people from all walks of life are just simply enjoying, under that winter blanket of air, with those sunset hues slowly fading from the sky. Finally, Budapest is also magical for another reason. When it gets dark, the city reveals another side. Budapest at nighttime is a glittering, gleaming revelation. A city that glows with such amberlit warmth, a scintillating reminder of the old world charm that hasn't lost its sparkle. Budapest is certainly more than its beauty. Its gorgeous boulevards and regal buildings, stunning monuments and sites that are built to impress. It's a European capital that's up there as one of the most refined, a touch lavish, yes, but it's attainable, leisurely, very approachable, and deeply charismatic. It's a fascinating city with stories to tell, and an unexpectedly rewarding destination with memories to share and keep. This place has endured throughout the ages, from one occupation to another, survived destructive wars and draconian regimes. If there's anything Budapest did, it's to persevere throughout time, and today we bear witness to that incredible persistence. And I think the world has already woken up, realizing that Budapest's beauty is not just on the surface, but skin deep, a beauty hard-won through endurance. And amongst Europe's finest treasures, Budapest takes its place as one of its remarkable jewels, that sparkling pearl of the Danube. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the sponsor of this Budapest episode, the River Cruise King. I've known Dave for a couple of years now, and he's definitely your king in river cruise experiences. He's been bringing people to unforgettable river cruise adventures for over a decade. A trusted travel agent and your specialist in creating impeccably planned itineraries throughout the major rivers in the world. As it happens, Budapest is a major hub for river cruises, with thousands of departures each year, with cruises that sail to Germany, Romania, even through Amsterdam and to the Black Sea. Join his upcoming Grand Danube cruise in 2025, where you get to stop and explore each grand European capital along this spectacular river, ending in Vienna and offering a chance to visit Budapest on this cruise. You can even arrive earlier and join Dave in his ultimate 4-day Budapest experience for a fun and memorable itinerary in the city. Book a free consultation with Dave, see the link in the description, and discover all sorts of river cruises around the world. And being part of Dave's network, every time you book a cruise, in the dedicated link in the description below, I'll get a commission which would help fund the production of the In the Mood for Life videos. So, thank you for watching this episode and for your never-ending support on this channel. Share this video to your family, friends and loved ones. Until the next episode, bye for now.